Hey, Tyler, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up?
So we're live. Obviously, we'll have it live on the podcast. I think for legal reasons, I have to tell you we're going to use the sound everywhere under the sun, so I don't get sued and beaten up. So
That was my first thing to do. Now you ruined it. Thanks.
yeah, there you go. Your plan's been thwarted. You thought you were going to get rich here.
I was hoping to.
Nice. So where are you at in Tennessee? Out east?
Right outside Knoxville. Yeah, I'm out east.
You said time zone. I was like, dude, I thought it was all central. I forgot. Yeah, east.
Yeah, when you said 2, I started looking. I'm like, all right, but then I noticed one of your comments said the best time zone central. I'm like, well, he's wrong.
I thought for sure, man. I thought for sure you were central. Okay, good to know. Apologize for the appearance. My dog smashed my face today, so I got a nice third eye in the middle of my skull and a lump on my freaking head from these dogs. But
you're fine. Right. I was out hanging out with the kids today.
Nice, good deal. There you go. There's your weed eater. We're good to go now.
Yeah, my phone's gonna blow up. Let me turn it on. Do not disturb.
Yeah, you got it, man.
All right, we're good.
And I think I've got this all fancy enough where I can actually. Yeah. Okay. Good. I have a production. I don't do any of this myself, so today's a first. So we'll see.
You're good.
Oh, and I'm not recording yet. There we go. Okay. Cool. Yeah, so Tyler from HGA, appreciate you taking some time with us, man. So obviously I reached out yesterday because of the Twitter thing. I think people thought I was offended by the tweet. I actually didn't care. I don't know if it was on Twitter. Where was the tweet at PSA?
Well, we originally posted it on our Facebook page, but then one of my managers actually runs my Twitter account. He actually reshared it over there.
Yeah, I actually didn't mind it. I mean, for you guys who didn't see it, after seeing price increases from the other grading companies, we've decided we want to make some or more money while handling fewer cards. Best way to do it is by raising our prices and not working as hard. I mean, I thought it was a shot at them, which I didn't care. I think people I thought it was sensitive. If anything, I just thought, hey, I would have just named them myself, but I mean, I don't care. I don't get paid by PSA. We got Steve Sloan coming on tomorrow. We'll talk to him because he's in the industry. What's your thinking behind that type of thing? Just again, I don't care. I'm just curious.
It wasn't even just a shot at them. I mean, all the grading companies I noticed within the past 2 weeks, minus one, have price increases. And
BGS, PSA.
Yep. And then GMA also, I believe, I saw that they had some price increases, I believe.
I didn't even know they were still in business. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, I just saw it, and I'm like, man, everybody's just increasing prices. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I mean, when we came out, everybody was like, oh, y'all are expensive. But we also have a lot of extra steps and a lot of extra technology that goes into our grading. So our prices reflect that. And but yeah, no, it was just a generalized joking statement. I joke around with everybody, and most of my people that know me knew it was like, ha ha, funny. But some people took offense to it. I'm like, well, I mean, seriously, I was like, if McDonald's doubled their price tomorrow, how many people are switching to Burger King or Wendy's or somewhere else? I mean, we'd be upset. But if they came out and said, well, it's just the demand's too high, I'd be like, well, hire more people. Get a third drive-through line somehow.
Yeah, but just Chick-fil-A it actually. Chick-fil-A does everything exactly right. I didn't discover that place till I came to Tennessee. It's fantastic.
That place is perfect. They should run the government.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I had no issue. I don't have any issue with GMA raising their prices either. I didn't know they still had lights on, so I actually might start grading with them just to keep them in business.
Right.
Yeah, I really had no issue there. I mean, Twitter likes to blow up and chirp. I'll say this. So here's the one thing I'm curious now to get your take about. You've obviously seen a million guys messaging because our email's been blowing up, our socials. Hey, what about the AI thing? Came out saying they're going to use AI. Now you're not going to use AI.
No, we've always used AI, and literally we worked late into the night last night trying to figure out what these people were talking about. The first time we saw, I think, was like Cardboard Connection maybe shared it, and our website has never mentioned AI specifically. What we mentioned is that we have a new state-of-the-art software that we're using, which is AI. Now, when I talk about it, I just say AI instead of state-of-the-art software just because it's more relatable. People understand AI, artificial intelligence. But our website, we went through and we pulled up like weekly archives of our actual website post of our website data, and not once has it ever said AI. So when people were sitting there saying that we took it off, that's never been actually on our website. It's always said state-of-the-art programming.
But it is AI. I mean, again, it's
100% AI. Yeah, it is
okay.
AI. But
okay, because I get like the comment on the Facebook thing was, well, we never said on the website. I'm thinking, but you tweeted from the HGA account, like, hey, we're using this.
No, it is AI.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we did, we try to, I don't want to use the words dumb it down, but we try to, we just try to use the word program. Okay. So on our website, we say we got a state-of-the-art or a new program that will grade our system. So instead of saying AI, because the first thing we're going to blow us up, like, what's AI? What do you mean by that? Allen Iverson? So we just used the program, and like I said, we went through and checked every weekly archive to make sure that we didn't actually use AI on there. I mean, that is what we use, but I was like, what are they talking about taking it off? We have not edited it yet.
Sure.
So
I think where it came from, so you can see the confusion though. Like the HGA accounts tweeting about it, it says AI, even though you're not. I mean, I can see how they would make the connection, whether it's website or not.
I never even, because there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. I never even thought about like, oh, where do we take that off at? So I got with all my developers and was like, we had a meeting last night, and I'm like, hey, who changed this stuff? And everybody's like, nobody changed it. So we pulled up all the archives, we read through it, and it's never been changed since we opened. Which I share the link after this in the video description. I'll share the archive links to show that it's never been changed.
I trust. I was just curious. I honestly, that was one of my only questions, because I was like, man, I get maybe even if it wasn't on the website, I'm thinking, but if you're tweeting about it. So I got to ask, who runs this Twitter account? HGA. Who's running this thing?
Right now it's one of my
I think
managers.
we're losing you.
Can you hear me?
Okay. I got you now. Your face went a little fuzzy, but
sorry. I'll keep still.
No, you're good. He'll cut it all up anyways. So one of the managers. I was curious.
But yeah, no, it's one of my managers. His name's AJ.
Okay. How old is this AJ cat? I am curious. Is he a young dude?
Almost 40.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'll say again, I'm from Boston. I don't care. I call people out all the time. He is funny on Twitter. I don't know how closely you monitor social. Like for me, we have interns and stuff who do a lot of it.
When he first started, I told him, I was like, hey, keep it down. We're not Wendy's, because he loves Wendy's. He follows Wendy's and he thinks they're just hilarious. And he's like, no, it's funny. And then he finally toned it back when he's like, man, people are so ruthless and mean. And I'm like, they are. I was like, but people bash Wendy's and everybody. I was like, let's just I told him tone it back a little bit, because he wanted to be funny. And we're a lighthearted group. We're hobbyists, we're collectors,
Sure.
We're huge sport fans. And so we try to, bring that persona to it. But I think a lot of people were, they're not accepting us yet. And we're trying to do more meetings and meet the staff, just so people can get a feel for us, because we're all laid back. I mean, we're just sports fans and just normal guys. We're nothing special, and that's kind of how we want to come across. But I think the issue gets lost in translation when we're posting from our business account.
Again, I actually kind of thought it was funny. I don't mind if guys make fun of other people. I do it all the time. But I did think, I was like, yeah, I don't know that I do this for my business account, but I mean, whatever, to each their own.
Right.
So so there's a bunch of, I mean, obviously the price increases. My first question too, we got a couple questions from the guys too. My biggest thing is, how do you guys get competitive in the market? Because that's all I care about, right? If I'm going to send stuff to grade, I'm going to grade it because it's going to make me money when I sell it. How do you see you guys coming into that?
I honestly feel like we're already competitive. And that's something, we went back and forth because people keep talking about that. But last week alone, we had over 33,000 cards put in our system in the queue to try to submit last week. Now, that wasn't from the beginning. That's just last week on a 7-day period. 33,000 cards were entered into our system. Now, the issue is last week we accepted 2,800. We're jumping to 3,200 this week total. So we're only able to take about 10% of what's actually being submitted into our system right now. There's a huge market share. People are looking for other options, looking for other companies. I don't see an issue with us being competitive.
Yeah. So on the resale side though, how do you see that taking place? Because that is the one area I am curious. Like, I have a theory that I think would work, but what's your plan? Like, hey, because again, if the stuff doesn't resell, if it has the same ring as like HGA is fine. I have some HGA vintage, but I'm not sending ultra modern stuff there, obviously, because it doesn't sell for PSA or BGS pricing. So how do you get to that level on resale? Because I think that's what brings in, then all of a sudden you're on that same level. What's going on here? Shoving pizza in your face? We're having a serious conversation here.
It's serious. It's sports, man. This is fun. No, I'm blessed to be able to do this. It's awesome. But no, I really right now our prices are going great because of supply versus demand. So many people. I mean, right now we have 12,000 accounts on our website right now with orders in price, that they're trying to get through. So right now, if only 500 people get through a week, there's 11,500 that do not, get an order. So they're going to be on eBay trying to buy some of our slabs.
Okay. So, hey, first question, this came up a bunch too, and I am curious too, as far as the population reports, what are you guys doing on that end? Do you have a database set up, or how's that working?
So, yeah, the database is already set up. We're starting to accrue the data, and we're just making minor modifications. Should be up in the next few days. We've been saying that, but then we moved to the queue system, and then it got infiltrated over on Friday. So Thursday went smooth. By Friday, people had already started creating bots, and they actually went in and created a little issues for us on Friday. So we were supposed to have it launched on Tuesday, our pop reports, but we've been focusing on moving the queue system to our servers, so that way people can't actually mess with the queue system.
Okay, so it's coming. It'll have the same sort of a feel as PSA or whatever. Just
absolutely, yep.
Okay. I am curious too, like grade wise. Here's the one thing that made me skeptical at the beginning, not the design. I said on the show, the podcast, the big show, like, hey, if you're looking to grade you're like your PC stuff, I think it looks cool. I'm all for that. I am curious though, like it does, and again, it's super new. I'm sure people are being selective with what they're sending. I have not seen anything below a 9.
I understand. So there's a couple things with that, and you'll see in our pop reports. There's a couple things that go into that. People don't show off cards that they get that are below 9s. People just don't show them off. Secondly, we grade a little different than Beckett. So where they typically only allow a half point above below a sub score, we allow 1 full point. So if they get an 8 on corners and the rest of the sub scores are 10s, we'll bump it to a 9 instead of 8.5. So you're going to see a little bit of variation there. I always thought it was weird that you only allowed a half a point. I mean, you could have 3 10s and then a 6, and it can only go to a 6.5. I think at least 1 full point was a standard deviation that was acceptable. But really in the beginning, because so many people thought we were expensive, the people willing to give us a try sent better condition cards. But we graded a card, I mean, as recently as yesterday, that was a 3.5. So we have tons of lower grades. It's just people aren't showing off their 7s and 8s. People aren't real happy when they get a 7 or 8 back. They're not like, yeah, I got a 7.
Right. Actually, I think that's probably reasonable. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and we get a lot of messages of people like, I think it graded my service too harshly. Like a guy this morning, he sent me 3 of his 15 cards, and they were all, 1 was a 7 and 2 were 7.5s. And he's like, I think it graded too harshly. And I'm like, some people are saying it's grading too loosely. I'm like, we're going to have that. We have standard parameters for that reason. But we went back and checked the scans, and we're able to tell them like, hey, here's why I did it. And that's something that we're working on, obviously making available to the customers here in the next 4 to 6 months, where they'll be able to see their actual scans and what the deductions were from.
Okay. So, obviously the next question too, I think a lot of guys have the same question when it comes to, going in, and a couple of the guys have said in the chat, there's plenty of 8s on eBay. So, okay. That's, yeah. And like I said, I actually think I'm not showing off my 6s and 7s on Tatis stuff. Right. Okay. So let me ask you this. Can you walk us through just briefly, how does the AI, not AI, whatever it is, like walk us through, I give you my card. What are we? What's the song and dance?
You want to know the full process?
Dumb down, man. I'm not looking for. Yeah, you don't have to. You start talking about beta and AI anymore. I'm literally gonna hang up.
All right, I'll just kind of tell you the process that it goes through, because there's 12 steps, and I'll break it down real quick. Cool. We go into receiving. We take pictures upon arrival of the boxes just to make sure that the box is intact. There's no damage to the box. As soon as we open it, we take another picture, and then we take a picture of each card just upon receiving. Then it goes through research and ID to make sure that it's 1, authentic, 2, that it's labeled correctly, and we fix any mistakes that were made right then. Hey,
real quick, let me stop you there, because that's a question that's come up, and it's going to tie in right here. The authenticity thing.
Yep.
What's that look like? I send you my Jordan, because you guys did you just have the Jordan come through, or was that?
We've had 2 Jordans that were good, and we've had 11 that were deemed fake.
Okay. So is that just something in-house? How do you guys? What's that look like?
We've got 3 people who have previously worked in the authentication, and so we were able to get them away from the companies that they were with in the past. So we have people who are very skilled and very experienced in that field. Like I said, so far out of the 13 Jordans, 86 Fleer Jordans that we've received, out of the 13, 2 have been graded.
Okay.
So people are testing us, just make sure that we have the right staff, and that's great. We like it. I didn't set this up overnight. I didn't say, hey, you know what? I'm bored. Let's start a grading company. We have almost a year of development with almost 100 hours a week. So, if you put it in times, we're 2.5 years into this, time-wise. So we put a lot of time, effort, and money into this. So from there, we go into a wipe down phase. All we do is use microfiber cloths that are specially made. We just gently remove any dust, debris, fingerprints from the surface, and then it goes into our high-resolution scanning room.
I'll say this. That's actually a cool I don't know. I did not know that. I'll be honest with you. First of all, I thought you were going to be way more combative and sarcastic. This is kind of boring. I was like all revved up. I was like, this guy, I actually don't hate you. I'll be honest with you, Tyler. That's a compliment. When I say I don't hate somebody, that's like somebody from Boston saying you're like a brother, I guess. So you will actually clean the surface, not clean, but you'll actually just wipe off.
We don't use any cleaners. We just wipe them off just to make sure, like on all your newer wax and stuff, how people just grab them and they touch them. We just wipe off the fingerprints, so we need it for the high resolution scan, because we're scanning at 3600 DPI.
I actually love that.
Yeah,
I love that. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. That's okay.
Yeah, Well, it helps once we get to the level where we can accept group subs. They don't have to worry about wiping them down themselves anymore. So it'll be a great advantage for group subs.
Yeah, which is a huge service. Either you're charging for it, or they just don't want to do it. So you're always I'm not gonna lie. That's literally my favorite point about this company. Well, that's not true. I like that you bash people on Twitter. That's my favorite thing. This is second favorite though. I'm not thrilled with the pizza. Okay, I'm sorry. I keep interrupting. All right, so
no, you're fine. But so yeah, we just gently wipe them down, and then it goes into the scanning. So from the scanning, because there are a lot of people misunderstand. They think what we do is we scan and then we just look at the scan. No, because we developed the program, and that's where my developers call it a program. I call it AI. I'm simple. I'm from West Virginia. I was born and raised a hillbilly. So anything I don't understand, it's just like artificial intelligence right there, and it is. It's a program. They actually developed a software program using AI, which are neural networks and our machine learning specialists. They designed, to grade the cards, and so it's a program that we run on the card. So we open the scan into the program, and then it actually analyzes. It takes about 3 minutes to actually grade the card, and then from there, it goes through 2 grading phases, and then goes to custom design label phase. So each label is custom designed. So, you've seen some issues we've had. That's just from people, mistyping things.
I'll be honest with you. That's another thing. We got questions, but I really don't care. You got a card, like there was something labeled to Pat Mahomes. My biggest thing with that is, but it seemed the 3 guys I talked to, because actually 3 people did reach out to me. This was my card. They all said you took care of it. I mean, I understand why it comes up. I mean, why it's more of a big issue. You're new. Everybody wants to find a reason. I don't fault them for being more critical because you're new to the space. But at the same time,
we're definitely under a microscope, and it's as I expected to be.
Sure. But if that happens with PSA, I'll tell you right now, dude, I've had it happen with PSA. I'm not getting a response for weeks, and then I'm paying shipping to get it back, and I'm waiting a month to get it. So I actually have no issue with that. I'll be honest. It happens.
Yeah,
thousands of cards.
And that's what I tell people. Like, mistakes are going to happen. We still have a lot of human element in this. The difference is how you respond to it. Like, did I take care of you? Are you happy now? So a lot of times I just refund their whole submission. I get the cards back. I pay for overnight return shipping. I get them fixed in one day, and I overnight it back. So they're out of their cards for 2 days, and then they get all their money back. So I feel like it's fair for them. I try to make sure. I mean, if PSA did that, I wouldn't be here today, because I had 2 $5,000. One was a $5,000, one was a $10,000 car, Zion and LeBron, and they had the label switched on me this summer. And then in August, they sent me a actual label back and the card back in a sleeve, and they forgot to slab it completely. Just forgot to slab it completely. I'm like, well, how does that happen? And then you email them, and they're like, we'll be back with you in 5 to 7 business days. And then from there, it took like another week or 2 to send me my printing label to send back to them. I'm just like, I hate when we make mistakes. We want to make mistakes, but I'm gonna be real about it. I'll try to fix everything I can.
Yeah, actually, quite frankly, that's more of a selling point than a negative. That's number 3 on the list. Insulting Twitter, wiping cards down, making mistakes right. Okay, we're 3 for 3. I feel like we could wrap this up here because now it's getting all positive and I don't like it. As far as group subs, because I do have guys asking about that. So first of all, I guess it comes down to capacity. You said you're doing what, 3,300 a week right now?
This week we're going to bump to 3,200. So we'll do 1,600 subs on Thursday, 1,600 on Friday. So
let me ask you this. How does it work if I just want to send you stuff tomorrow, for example? Would I have any idea where I fall into that queue, or is there an online queue already?
Yeah, so Thursday submissions at 5 o'clock. You log in from 4:45 to 5, and it just puts you in a waiting room. At 5 o'clock, it goes through and randomly lottery. It's just a lottery system. It randomly assigns everybody a number. If there's 4,000 people online, then it'll give you a random spot in line, and then you just sit there and wait your turn.
Okay.
And then when it sells out, it comes up and it says, and we have a lot of cool things coming up with that too, for the queue system. But for right now, we had to do that because our website was just being bombarded and overloaded with thousands of people hitting it at once. And, the first week the servers were slow. And then the second week the database was slow. And then the third week it was a little mixture of both. We upgraded them. So right now we're running 48 servers and still can't keep up with the capacity.
I don't know what a server is, but it sounds good. When I tell you I am dumbed down, I'm not joking. I don't
understand it either. I just tell you, I just repeat the information. That's why I'm like, I don't know if I'm repeating it right. I just tell you what my development team tells me. I'm like, I probably sound like an idiot to somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Well, good news. Nobody here. Let me say this. I do want to address this quickly because dude telling people he grades his stuff with PSA. Yeah, so what? I don't. So I guess I am curious. So do you grade your own stuff with HGA?
Nope. I won't let my employees.
Cool. Okay.
I just don't want to get into the same issues that PSA has been accused of.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my employees, he subs about 500 cards a month to PSA still. And he's like, can I switch here? I'm like, no, you can't. If you want to quit, you can. I just don't want to ever be accused of,
Yeah, partiality, favoritism, whatever. Yeah, guys on Facebook, I don't care. I don't know why he wouldn't. Yeah, that's fine. Good answer. Okay. Here, so I'm going to share. This is my trade secret. I don't know who stole my thunder over here in the chat because I said on the podcast last week, somebody thinks they're smart. This was my question right here. Are you planning on getting an influencer, someone like Gary Vee, to send in raw stuff so you can get publicity? My thing was actually take it a step further. You have someone like that send stuff into you, and then I would just host an eBay auction. Because again, to me, the skepticism now is, okay, I send my stuff in. Again, once I get around the pop report's coming, guys. Just listen to the interview, dum-dums. Especially you, Eric. I know you can't read. You just got to listen. We made it real simple for you. I am not sold on the resale value yet because it's early, and I don't think it's
new. We're new. Yep.
But I will say I think that is the easiest. So, what's your plan on that side of things? Like, do you have something like that in the works? Is that something, or is this more of an organic type thing to grow? Where do you see with that question? Is this a trade secret? He's looking off to the side. He can't share the details.
I'm trying to think of what I can say and what I can't say because we have a lot of stuff in development.
Okay.
We have almost 30 employees in-house. We have about 15 on the backside right now, working from marketing and stuff that big things that we're working on. And like I said, it's going to be a lot in the queue. So we're going to have, I'll just kind of spill the beans a little bit. We're going to have a lot of celebrities joining us during our queues on Thursday and Friday, and then we'll actually roll those out into YouTube. But the first place, we're going to do live interviews and be sending our cards out to celebrities that will have one there of themselves. So when we're talking to them, they'll be able to have a card in hand of themselves. So we're already working on setting up. It's going to take a couple weeks, but we're going to try to have every Thursday and Friday have a actual athlete star be with us on the queue.
Okay. And so when you say on the queue, live on your website or something? What are we talking?
So when you go to the queue from when it starts at 5 and it starts letting people in, it's a boring sitting there. People are just bored. We're trying to create a community. We're all collectors and hobbyists. So we want to give them some fun data and stuff. So we're going to try to do live interviews during our queue with, I can't mention the names, but with some of these previous NBA legends and stuff. We'll be on there live and have, an announcer such as like yourself that'll host it. We're reaching out right now to some different people. So it'd be like you hosting it, me, and then there'll be a sports athlete with our slab in hand because we're going to try to get slabs in their hands as we go on the interview so they can kind of show off a slab of themselves
in person
and help get their thoughts and stuff. So it's just a different way, and it'll just be a way, to talk to them about the community and just just chat with different stars about some of their favorite moments in the sports and their sports world. So
I'll be honest, I actually like that idea. I do think somebody asked me this about the comic book thing too. At some point, I think it would be awesome to see these things go to auction. That same card that Giannis, or as Jesse calls him, Giannis, is holding up of himself on your queue. If that thing hit an eBay auction, all of a sudden there's your legitimacy. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm only half a celebrity. I'm too short to be full. Thank you, Brett.
I get it. I'm there with you.
How tall are you, Tyler? I usually start with
I'm about 5'8".
Not great. Okay, that's fair. If you had said 6 anything, I would have hung up.
Yeah, we can be friends.
So let me ask you this too. With the queue system, just so I understand, is the queue, and it's a good question too, let me give a little credit. I don't know who Edward Nalder is, but he brings up some reasonable points, so he must be new to the group. Is the queue system like Top Shot, where it's just an open randomized queue, or is it first come, first serve in the queue?
It's an open randomized queue. So you can log in 15 minutes early. At 5 o'clock, it says calculating, and then it just randomly assigns everybody a number.
Gotcha. So exactly the Top Shot model.
Yep.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, I'll be honest. I do think once people start seeing this, because it seems like, especially with the influence thing, I mean, I'm very new to this world of these celebrities and people like that. It doesn't take much. I'm a talentless hack, and quite frankly, now we're on a big stage. So I honestly don't think it takes a ton. I like that plan. That was my biggest thing. I'm curious with the marketing. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the best way now. I think some people in the card community feel like, oh, you got to really win over the hearts and minds of the hobbyists. I don't. I think most hobbyists don't. Anything new, it could be the greatest thing in the world. They're going to hate it just because it's just a naturally pessimistic hobby.
Yep, it is.
So
it is.
I actually like the idea of the hobby of the going halfway there. Excuse me, going celebrity route. Interesting. I tell you, this went a lot smoother than I thought, Tyler. I was real excited. What does it look like for plans on expansion? Actually, this is my buddy Chris. He's local. Chris runs Nash Cards. He's a paid sponsor with us. He obviously is a big PSA guy right now. As you expand and handle more volume, will you be open? I think Chris is actually asking for a job. You can just email me your resume, Chris. But are they open to bulk subbers to help organize the volume of cards? Sorry.
Yeah. So
You touched on
my,
that a little bit, but
yeah, my original plan on that is once we get to 10,000 cards a week, then we'll start working in bulk subbers. I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance while we continue to grow. And we plan to be maybe middle of June, be around 10,000. By the end of the year, we want to be around 15 to 20,000 cards that we can handle a week. So we're trying to, we're continually recruiting and hiring from all over the country. I've got people flying in that I'm flying in from about 4 different states this week alone.
I'll shuttle. I'm 15 minutes from BNA, dude. I'll pick them up. I don't care.
Let's go. So
I'm interested. Let me ask you this: when it comes to that as well, I mean, so at that point, obviously, you're still going to have the queue in place for 10,000. So would a bulk subber just take up a certain percent? How does that work in that model?
They'll be separate. So what happens? Okay. What will happen is we'll have a bulk sub department, and then we'll have our normal department. So our normal 10,000 will continue to increase 2 to 4 to 500 a week, and then our bulk subs will continue to ramp that department up. So it'll be a completely different department.
Okay, guys are asking too, and you mentioned this, I missed it. The queue is the same every week, Thursday.
It's going to start Thursday at 4:45 p.m. It starts at 5. So you need to be in by 5. And then on Friday, it's at 9 p.m. Eastern. Now, all this is Eastern time zone.
Yeah, I won't hold
I
that
know,
against
not
you.
the best, but
that's
close.
fine. That's fine. So it opens Thursday at 5. It closes Friday at 9.
No, Thursday at 5 for the 5 o'clock submissions. So at 5 o'clock on Thursday, it starts, and then until 1,600 spots are full. And then Friday, we do it at 9 o'clock. I try to do that because we had a lot of people, different religions, reach out on Friday night that are not able to have access to electronics and stuff come Friday night.
What'd you say? Different religions?
Yeah.
Oh, we got the Sabbath. We got the Sabbath exception for Saturday. Okay.
Yep. So
and they're celebrating that on the correct day. I can't fault them for that. I'm not a Sabbath man myself, but at least they're doing Saturday, not Sunday. They got the numbers down right. Okay.
That's right. But yeah, so we're trying to make sure, we don't exclude anybody. Some people felt like we excluded them by doing Friday nights. Our first week we took 3.5 days to fill up. And so I never dreamed we'd fill up. I mean, as of 2 weeks ago, we filled up in 2 minutes. So we filled up almost
1,600 spots, 2 minutes.
It was 2,200 spots that time because we were just doing 1 day at the time.
I got you. Okay.
And it filled up in 2 minutes. I mean, our servers just went haywire and it crashed for some people. And, so I was like, all right, we have to come up with something different. And we looked at Top Shot. They had a good model with their queue system. I was like, all right, we'll have to do that. We're still getting some backlash over that. People are upset they can't get in, and I get it. But 10% of the cards that are being put in our system are all that's getting through right now. And I hate that, but we didn't expect, we're growing pretty quickly. I mean, we went from 800 cards our first week to now we're accepting 3,200 cards 6 weeks later. So we've grown 4 times over, 5 times over almost, about 4 times over in 6 weeks. So, and that's our goal. We're just going to continue to train and expand. And the only thing we need in seats are people and computers.
AI, I like it. So if I miss the queue Thursday, if I'm in there, but I just don't get selected for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another question too. Top Shot, for example, 5,000 spots get selected, but they'll have 90,000. Like last week, there was 94,000 plus in the queue. The top 5,000 randomized select. So in your queue, the top 1,600 get a spot, so to speak.
No, we have 1,600 card spots available. So that's kind of where it kind of gets a little confusing for our system, and we're trying to look at better ways to do it. So if everybody took 1 spot, the top 1,600 would get a spot. But if everybody, on average, our average cards per or order right now is like 7.2. So typically we're going to get around probably about 220 to 250. So the top 220, 250 spots will be able to get submissions with us on average.
How many people are actually applying for the queue? Top 1,600 cards get in. How many are you seeing on average, like actually lined up to try to get in?
Last week, on Friday, we had 3,700 people in the queue.
And on average, how many would you say actually different people actually got in?
So about 200, 250.
Right, because a little over 7 cards per.
Yep.
I'm smart with math. I don't know if you know this just yet. I'm pretty good with
I see that.
I'm just kidding. Okay. So, and then again, I think you just said it. Thursday, it just resets for Friday then. You don't, like, if you missed the queue Thursday, you have to go back and get in again on Friday to get into the queue.
Yep.
I like
so
the queue
it's a lottery system. You might miss 4 straight times, but you might hit 3 straight times. I mean, it's kind of like doing minis on cards.
Yeah, sure. You're just in there for the chase. Okay. Yep. Is there a card limit? If I guess that's determined by my order, or how does that work?
So each order is limited to 20 cards right now. We had it open, but then we had a couple people that would send 100 cards in, and so we limited it down to 20 currently. We've even looked at maybe lowering it further, but I mean, I felt like 20 is a solid number. It's keeping us around a 7 card per average.
I like that. Okay. My favorite comment, by the way, Boston math. Thank you. So why Why not do slots based on number of cards per person wants to submit? Yeah, Kyle. I mean, he's trying to keep it open, Kyle. I actually like that too. So the more people are allowed to get in. So next month, I mean, when are we going to start seeing the celebrity thing? Like to reach out? You have a timetable on that? Yeah, no, you can't say.
We're looking 3 to 4 weeks. So they're testing. They're doing all the video testing right now. Literally as we speak, they're on there testing. The plugins and everything to make sure that the video will filter freely. And then we're looking for probably about 3 weeks. So not 3 weeks from tomorrow, we should be with our first live with our first celebrities.
Interesting. Well, second celebrity. I don't know if you noticed what's happening here, but okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm going to get in this Q thing. I do want to try it. So I'll be honest, that was it, man. I wanted to get some information. Like I said, we're having Steve Sloan on tomorrow. I'm a fan of I'm a fan of honestly open markets and everything. Discussion,
Absolutely.
Open market as far as spending. I'm not going to say it rubbed me the wrong way last night, but I was like, I didn't know. I was like, if a buddy of mine was chirping back at me like this, I would actually just think it's funny because all I do is make fun of my co-host. But I was like, I don't know what's going on with this. But I actually, like I said, I have no issues with that. I was curious about, some people on Twitter, he insulted me and this and that. Again, I don't. If you guys are just a bunch of buddies hanging around and making fun of people, I don't know. Yeah. That seems more normal to me, quite frankly. That's how our show is too. We don't sit around and talk about how wonderful the whole world is. I generally spend half my time bashing people. So
I'm the same, and that's something we're going to try to do is put up more videos of us, just like our everyday work life, just joking with each other. And I think my statement would have came off a lot differently. Like as I read it to my CFO and everybody, he's an accountant, and he's like, "Oh, that's funny," and it's voice inflection versus reading it black and white and not knowing me.
No tone with the text, sure.
Yep. And I'm like, goodness gracious, like so many people took that wrong. I'm just making a joke, and people just don't understand that because. Like I said, we're just like all we do is sit there and pick on each other. We're guys. We don't tell each other like, "Hey, you're looking great today." We're like, "God, you look ugly." It's no sin.
Yeah, no, I'm actually a fan of that. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna try to get in this Q thing. Is there something? Are you gonna text me a private code after I get one card snuck in here? I'm excited. This is the only reason I got into this whole thing. Perks.
Right.
I got a lot of perks here, pal. So
I hear you.
You need some phone numbers. You tell me. I got quite the Rolodex. That's it, man. I know you're probably slammed. I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, I actually thought we were going to have a little bit more of a conflict here, which I don't care about that either. I'm happy to. I didn't open with this line just because it seemed pretty quick. We were going to be cordial, but I don't care if you come on here and scream at me the whole time. I'm going to pump up the site. You come up. Anybody who's willing to stand on it, you stand behind what they do and come on here. My hat's off. Whether I agree, disagree, I don't care. So you actually had some pretty cool points. I'm telling you right now, that wipe down thing is huge.
Yeah,
that sounds like something very minimal to people, but that's actually I've been dinged so many times by PSA for having a clear fingerprint or something stupid on a card.
And that's nothing wrong with the surface. I mean, literally can wipe it off. So it takes seconds. So it just I don't know. Like I said, there's some things that we wanted to change in the industry, and that's our goal.
I mean, it needs it. Let's be honest. I love PSA, but I wait a year for a card, and then the price go. I'll be honest. That's my first question with Sloan tomorrow. Why don't you just shut things down for 2 months and just catch up? I don't blame people for sending
I really don't understand. I don't understand their reasoning for not doing that either, because the way they charge, they're not taking the money up front, so it's not going to they're going to go 2 months without operating expenses. Right. Had I been able to reach out to somebody better there, I own lots of other businesses, I would have been like, hey, here's what y'all need to do to catch up. And it's hard. When you're stuck in the middle of something, it's hard when you're involved daily to think outside the box because you're just trying to keep up with the rat race. But really, but do you think about it? They're doing things a great way. Right now they're adding to the back end of their queue, their whole line, but they're doubling their profits. So anything that gets put in back there, then they can lower it back down. But then for this in 3, 6, 8 months period, they're going to be doubling their profits, doing the exact same work, and then they can lower their prices some, and people will be happy, even if they lowered it 25%. So where it's still 50% above where it's at currently.
You think you're getting a deal.
You think you're getting a deal and you're making a lot more money. And I'm like, it's not a bad idea from them, but to me, I'm an honest person. To me, it just feels like taking advantage of a thriving market.
Yeah, I guess even that, my whole stance with that would have been just come up with a statement that says, listen, PSA is making everybody a ton of money. We're jacking up the prices. Deal with it. I don't need to hear that you're trying to slow down the backlog. That's bullcrap. Right. Just say everybody else is making money. We want to make money. I don't get mad when my distributor charged me an extra $1,000 for flawless basketball this year. Made $15,000 a case. You want to make an extra $1,000? I get, again, open market. I'm fine with it. I'm a big fan of transparency. So, like I said, that was the only thing that rubbed me wrong yesterday. I was like, just come out and say what you meant. But I think the group was expecting me to lose my cool. I'm mad at you about the pizza thing. People eating on camera annoys the crap out of me. That's what
does me too.
I didn't tell you. I'm sorry.
No, tell me.
That's it.
I'm starving. I was sitting there swimming with my kids. I tried to take a couple hours off, come hang out with my kids, and we just got pizza, and I literally just got delivered. I'm like, man, I'm starving.
Go back to let me ask you this last question from me. How far are you from Nashville?
About 2.5, 3 hours.
At some point, when this thing isn't, when the whole world's not dying and everybody's in a bubble, are you open to somebody coming? I would love to do a little live there for the actual podcast and take a look at the operation.
We have something cool. We have a company flying out in April that's doing a huge documentary. I can't mention any names, but we're gonna be featured in a actual movie about the rise of sports cards.
Cool. So, I actually wonder if we might have the same producer on that one. Yeah, we got some people coming here end of April. Interesting. Okay. Yep. Well, maybe we'll be co-workers. I don't know. I appreciate you coming on. I would like to get you on the actual pod. I will say this. The audio was a little choppy. I probably just internet or something crappy. If we can set up a better connection one of these days, we'll do that on Zoom because we could do the same thing on maybe a month, 2 months down the road. Not even 2 months. I'd like to do it again. We get a lot of questions, man. We got interns do nothing but answer emails. And lately it's been the grading thing. It's been a huge thing. So, if you're cool with it, I'll definitely have them reach out and book you on the actual thing. We'll do it again.
Would love to.
Cool. Hey, I appreciate the time, brother. Have a good day.
Thanks, man. All right, see you.